Hey guys, sorry I can't be with you today. Hoping to be back with you Wednesday. Still recovering. I appreciate you working hard on IXL. Before I go over a couple examples with you and remind you about other examples that are available to you on IXL, like the videos on IXL and the videos on your online class notebook, just want to remind you that I can see exactly what you're doing on IXL. I can see when you log in and when you log out. I can see if you're spending 45 minutes like you should be, or if you are not logging in at all. I can see that. And also, I can see if you're logged in and not doing anything. For example, this student here was logged in at the start of class at 12:54, and then they did not do anything for 36 minutes. Okay, so that is going to affect your grade. Make sure you're on task, or your quarter two grade is going to start off low. Okay, so I expect that you're working for the full duration of the class time completing these assignments. All right, so I want to go over some of these. Jonah, I'm going to use you for an example. All right, I figured you wouldn't mind. Um, this first assignment is Introduction to Complex Numbers. Okay, you can see that Jonah spent the full class time working on this, so good job, Jonah. And just go over a couple of these that should help. So this first one looks like he got wrong. We are simplifying negatives inside radicals. So this involves both simplifying radicals and taking the negative out of radicals. So for this one, when we have negative 19 minus the square root of negative 96, the first thing is we can't take the square root of a negative, right? So this negative will come out as an I. So we have negative 19 minus I square root of 96. All right. Now, how did we go from square root of 96 to the correct answer? Because this is what Jonah put, but how do they get negative 4i square root 6? And so you have to think what times what is 96, and that's hard. But think about it like this. You only care if factors of 96 are perfect squares. So what are the perfect squares? Well, that's 1 times 1, 2 times 2, 3 times 3, 4 times 4, and so on, right? You guys should know what these are. 1, 4, 9, 16, and so on. So if one of these can go into 96, that's what I want. Okay, and in this case, I can divide 96 by 16 and see that 16 times 6 is 96. All right, and why do I care about that? Because the square root of 16 is 4, which comes out. So that's just negative 19 minus 4i root 6. Okay, does that make sense? So, yeah, there are a lot of possible factors for some of these, but I only care if these perfect squares are factors. All right, does that make sense? I only care if they will simplify to perfect squares. If they won't, then I can't simplify. All right, so let's look at the next one. He got this one right. Simply just take the negative out, right? He took the negative out, and it's an I. You can't simplify 47. So this one, he just forgot to keep the square root. We didn't simplify anything other than to bring the negative out as an I. Okay, and then see, he figured out already how to simplify this. So for this one, we have negative square root negative 50. So again, the first thing is to take this negative out. We get negative I square root positive 50 now, because that i's been taken out. And now we're thinking, what are the factors of 50 that are perfect squares? Remember, that's 1, 4, 9, 16, so on. Okay, well, any of these go into 50? Yeah, 25 does. So I can write this as root 25 root 2 because square root of 25, it comes out as just 5. Okay, there you go. That's the correct answer, which Jonah got. Good job, Jonah. All right, does that make sense? So there's that one. Now let's go look at the other assignment, which is adding and subtracting these things. And I'm going to use, who was I going to use? Judah. Judah did a good job on this. So let's see. Oops. There we go. Up to an 81, Judah. Nice. All right. So these are basically, you're just checking if there's a negative or not. If there's a negative, you're distributing the negative, and then you're combining like terms. All right. That's all there is to this. So I don't think this is a difficult one. You guys just need to be on task during class. So this first one that Judah got right, I have negative 6.5i. Okay, and remember I can read this as the opposite of whatever's in here. So when I distribute this negative, however you want to think about it, these signs flip. So now this has become a positive 6.5i and a positive 7.6. Okay, and then I'll look at the next group. Again, negative in the front. So the opposite of all this stuff, which again, the opposite of these would become positive, or you can think of it as distributing the negative. So this gives me, and look, they're trying to mix you up by putting the I and then the real, and now here's the real and then the I. So I would just go ahead and put the I's all lined up, however you want to do it. So this is a positive 8.81i, and this is a positive 6.7. They're really trying to mess with you here with the 7.6 and the 6.7, so just take your time. And then this last one, notice that it's plus. You see that? So I don't have to change these signs. So I'm just going to keep them the same. 4.2i and negative 6.1. All right, so what am I doing here? Sorry about that. That is, there we go. 8.8i, yeah, okay. Oh, so then I'm just going to combine my i's and I'm going to combine my reals. Okay, and that's it. That's what Judah did. He got the right answer. Okay, does that make sense? Combining 6.5i, 8.8i, and 4.2i, just adding up these coefficients and then keeping the I. Okay, that's all there is to this one. So hopefully you guys can get through this. I'm trusting you to be on task. And you can email me with questions, but I can't guarantee I'll get to them right away. I will try. But I think you'll be good on this, guys. So make sure you're on task, and I will plan to see you